Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. Guys, for investors out there who believe in artificial intelligence, the impact it's going to have on our lives and the growth that's going to come out of it, then you're going to love this interview with Datametrex AI, who last year recorded almost $50 million in revenue, and this year is on pace to do the same, if not maybe even past that. For those who are new to the story, Datametrex AI trades in Canada under DM, in the US for our friends DTMXF. There's, as you can imagine, an artificial intelligence focused company that's creating solutions across multiple verticals. That's what we love about this story. It's not a one-trick pony. So you're talking about cybersecurity, telehealth, electric vehicle charging. It's unbelievable. That gives the company the rare benefit that most small cap companies only dream of, which is multiple successful independent divisions that are each capable of being company makers. And that's why CIOReview called the company the most promising Canadian tech company for the 2022 calendar year. And they lived up to that so far. Like I said, 2021, they did $49 million in revenue. So far, between two quarters, first and second, about just over $28 million in revenue, just over $2.5 million in EBITDA, over $6.4 million in adjusted EBITDA, and a balance sheet that's just out of this world. And what are we talking about today? Amongst other things, Q3 revenue, $9.2 million with over $960,000 net income. Marshall, welcome back, man.
Glad to be here, George. Thanks for having me.
Hey, with these numbers, again, another monster quarter for you. Let's go through that. Talk to us about what you like most about this quarter and what shareholders should be focusing on.
Well, George, I think the one thing that really stands out in this quarter is the AI and the tech revenue. So, we were up to almost 4 million in that versus, about a little over 3 million in the previous year. And, that increase has been attributed to, just hard work on the inside. Now, it's not been the easiest year. If you look at tech stocks across the board, I think everybody's having, for the most part, a pretty difficult year.
Amazon, Tesla, Meta, all of them just got crushed.
Yeah, it's been a difficult year, especially, we came out of COVID and now we're into it looks like a big recession, globally. Not quite there yet in some countries, but it looks like that's where we're heading. So, we're super proud of this to, still be on an upward trajectory and still, you're producing, revenue and income and being in the black. We're super proud of that. Now, the other thing about that I think is very interesting is, we're starting to see a little bit, branching out with our land and expand strategy. We've talked about this a lot, both on, like this program and, other places that we've done, but you're now starting to see that as the tech is applied, and as that, we see it in use, across time in different areas, that it's starting to be, people are starting to see the value of this. And we're starting to see applications in other areas. For instance, one of these pieces that we're talking about is inside a factory.
So what you're referring to is the announcement we put out earlier this year about a smart factory platform, which we really haven't talked about a lot because you've had so much success with conglomerates like Lotte out of South Korea, repeat orders. But is the smart factory platform just another example of the unlimited uses for your technology and potential verticals that may or may not pan out, but could be a really big deal for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is definitely, another use of our platform that we can expand to. And it's something that's a little bit outside of our wheelhouse that we're certainly proud of. And the other thing that I think is significant about this is that with these contracts in this last quarter, a lot of this has led to inroads also into the United States. So that is a nut we've been trying to crack. We now have contracts in Silicon Valley. And as you mentioned, this stuff in the factories is its initial release is in the United States. And then, they'll see about expansions later.
And I like the way you're downplaying it, but the fact of the matter is, you had to start somewhere with your AI technology when it came to Lotte and others and small orders, and look where you're at. So it's something definitely for us to look forward to. We can't count any chickens before they're hatched, but I just love that's another major vertical because I think everything's going to be smart factories, smart restaurants, smart retail. That's just the way the world is going. Something else I picked up out of Q3 that I found very interesting and not that was a surprise, but you delivered great revenue with $960,000 net income. And the reason why I picked that as important is we mentioned earlier, a lot of companies, big Meta, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Tesla, they're all taking really big hits, their top and bottom lines. You're really bucking the trend. You're delivering growth in high tech with a great bottom line, right? That's a real differentiator.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said earlier, that's one of the things we're most proud about, is to be able to stay ahead of that curve right now during this past difficult year. And so that's, that's the goal. We're going to keep doing that. And I think our model and the way that, we have set this up really leads us to be able to deliver on that, because we are able to scale to the problem at hand. Therefore, if a big problem presents to us, we can break it down into smaller chunks and realize that revenue over time.
If we ended the interview right there, we'd say, hey, Marshall, great job. Another amazing Q. You're up to over $37 million in the first 3 quarters. Great. See you next time. But then the other piece of major news, I'm going to read it. Datametrex appoints former Via Rail Chief Operating Officer as new president of DTMXF. And this is Dominic LeMay, or if I pronounced correctly.
That's correct.
Great appointment. And a chief operating officer of a major transportation company. That's no small feat there. Well, how did you attract something like that? Because clearly to me, that says he had his choice of options, I'm sure, and he liked what he saw. So what do you think he liked in what he saw?
Well, you'll have to ask Dominic that question for the definitive answer. But yeah, we are super happy to have Dominic on board. And some of the things we've talked about, this has been a longer process. We've been in talks with Dominic for quite some time now. But he really likes the direction we're going and the what we're doing with what we said we would do. For the past couple of years, we knew the COVID business was, going to drive the revenues, and then we were going to take a few verticals, things that we found that we could invest in and put it back into it. And he is super excited about the potential of DTMXF. So, Dom's been up and down everything that we can do with that and what we can do to roll it out. We really think he's going to bring, a new dimension to the company, right? So Dom, as you said, has been involved with, say, Via Rail, and then like the STM metros and stuff inside Montreal, and then XO inside Quebec. And, he can bring the corporate dimension to the company. He can bring the government dimension to the company, as he's worked in both of these fields extensively. And so, we see this as a marriage, 2 + 2 = 5 in this case. And we're super excited to see where this goes.
Well, what I like about it is it allows you and your team to continue focusing on the thing that you guys are really great at, the tech side. But this brings in layman's my terms, a heavy hitter on the biz dev side, on the government relations, and all of that. So I don't know if it's 2 + 2 = 5. It's more like 2 + 2 = 8 at the end of the day. What do you see as his, top 2 or 3 priorities that you want, that he really wants to focus on, and you guys really want to focus on?
Well, the top priorities right now, are getting the business grounded and expanded into the markets. And that's what both, Greg and Dominic will be working on, and Greg has been working on over the past few months. So over the past few months, we have been, converting the technology at DTMXF and having it shipped over and, introduced into the North American market. And some of those conversions are going faster than we expected. We had some of the stuff in a couple weeks ahead of time. One of the trucks ran a couple weeks late because it got caught up in customs. So that was about 2 weeks behind. But as those things have been coming across, we've been doing installations in different areas, into different parking areas with, say strip malls and different, golf courses, things of this nature, as stuff has been coming across, and the trucks have been started to be deployed, across some of our current clientele and new clientele in those areas. And so the one thing that Dominic, I think Dominic can bring to this is, okay, we need to establish, longer term vision, and we also need to establish, where are we going to go on those other dimension sides, like we talked about. Dominic brings a side of this of, say, fleet management that we don't have in the company. These types of skill sets and this type of, background that, we do not have. And you're absolutely right. We need somebody in that space that has this type of knowledge, that has this type of, connections, has been there, done that, seen the problems, knows how to anticipate them. And, even to apply the lessons of, of the past to a new and emerging market like electric vehicles. And so those are going to be the priorities going forward. Let's get a solidified ground game. Let's get, a solidified, 6-month vision, 12-month vision, making sure that all that is, what we have lined up over there is going to pass muster, and then, drive those revenues and drive the contracts forward.
Yeah, I got to tell you, and for people at home watching or listening, that element is invaluable, because last thing you want to do is, you guys so focused on the tech, is to kind of trial and error the biz growth operation side. Because if you just go down the wrong path, you and I both know this, right? If you just go down the wrong path and didn't see something or didn't quite get the nuances, you lose a year or two just like that. You realize, oh man, we didn't realize that we should have done it this way and that way. So having someone like LeMay there say, hey, I've done this now, even though DMEVS, electric vehicle solutions in general, is new to everybody. Like I said, he's done it before in similar circumstances. So he's got a better idea of the past. So when I saw that appointment, I said, hey, Marshall, great. That was a smart appointment. So, maybe we'll have him on once he's really settled in, have him on in the new year or something like that. It would be great, right? Just to hear his, where he thinks it's all going. So if you're up to that, I'd love to have Dominic on in January, February, just to.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure, once Dominic gets his feet wet, gets grounded, ready to go, he'll be glad to come and share his thoughts and with everybody.
All right, but great addition. And again, third-party validation. You didn't appoint George, from GeorgeCom. Someone is a former VRL chief operating officer. That's a big coup, man. So congratulations. So if we ended the interview there, we'd say, all right, great quarter, great appointment. See you later, right? But then maybe the bigger news, I guess, because it came out of, we weren't expecting it. Datametrex announces acquisition of Imagine Health Centers. And what you said, your quote is, what's great about this deal is that Imagine Health is an already established business with a patient roster, doctors, and medical staff. This aligns with our telehealth business, Medicall. So it's a $2.6 million purchase. This isn't small. So it's definitely meaningful. Where does it fit into the Medicall strategy? What are the pieces it's filling in?
So one of the things that we quickly realized at Medicall was we can't do a lot of the stuff we wanted to do with just telehealth. And that's some of the things that we have been doing, but some of the requirements required physical space. Now, we had been supplementing physical space in Vancouver for quite some time. Through the COVID business, as it is required there. However, we quickly learned that we needed certain specialized areas. Now, in order to do that, we required certain expertise, and we've been looking for that expertise for a while. And bringing in Imagine Networks brings that expertise to the table, in addition to businesses that are well established, the space in Alberta, so we can expand to Alberta. We can work in the Calgary and the Edmonton areas comfortably now. We're also going to be able to work in the Toronto, Ontario areas now with this, as we're rolling this out in the future. So we've got those covered. And then with these guys' expertise, so with both the medical doctor expertise that comes with the deal, and in addition, we're getting some pharmacies and some pharmaceutical expertise. The idea behind this is, they've been there, they've done it, they've ran a successful medical business here for the past decade or so, and they've expanded it. We've seen it go across multiple cities. These guys been there, done that, have the know-how, know exactly what we need to do in order to make this expansion happen across Canada. Now, that's what we're seeing, and that's why this is really important to us and super timely. As we are rolling this out during like one of the worst I guess it's not the pandemic, but this follow on with the respiratory viruses and the flu and everything else is coming up. It couldn't be a better time to have these type of people coming on to, to the Datametrex staff and helping us, tackle these problems, et cetera. So this edition, I like to think of a lot of, what we just talked about with Dominic. We've got a couple of heavy hitters coming on staff. They're coming in to help us, build this across Canada, right? To take Medi-Call to the next level, and to help us build that business and revenue. And in addition to that, it's not just a couple of heavy hitters coming on board. We're bringing in, the businesses that they've built with them, along with the revenue and profit that comes there, built-in deal. It's, already there, already running, et cetera.
Accretive, Marshall, could we say that? Because it's got revenue and most likely some profits.
That's right. So all of that will be reflected, in our statements, and it's, the business just continues. So we will be integrating that, and how we integrate that, and as we roll it into the systems that we have now, and as we expand them, we will be letting everybody know.
Devil's advocate, though, because these aren't just cheerleading sessions, right? Even though you always give us great reason to cheer. If would investors be right to be concerned a little bit that at first they're thinking Medi-Call is strictly a digital electronic solution, but now does it also mean you'll need more of these integrated medical centers across the country, which means you're adding on a significant physical presence? And if so, is that an extra burden? Because there is a lot of CapEx that goes with that. There's more OpEx that goes with that, even though they're profitable. That just means a whole other kind of business that you got to have somebody manage. How do you address that?
Well, right now it does not. And let me tell you why, and let me show you this. So we're expanding into physical spaces because there's additional work we can do, okay? The telehealth is unaffected. It's still coming in. The stuff we announced in Q3, we're working with companies bringing in students and bringing in people from other countries. We're also working with, film and television production and everything, and bringing in telehealth from those areas, in addition to, local and anybody else where we provide services that can sign up for the telehealth. So none of that is affected. What we are seeing are, requests to do things that we cannot do, say easily dispatching, say, a doctor to your house, or dispatching, a nurse to your house, because that's the flip side of the coin. It's not just, we do the telehealth, but, if there does need to be a dispatch, then we have to do that. Now, there are cases, and, IV is one, let's say, that you can't always dispatch everything you need directly to the house easily, okay? So if you're going to do that, or if you have need for these type of services and people, want to do them, you need a facility to do that. Now, with certain ones of these facilities, we've been able to take care of some of those requests through what we've established through the COVID businesses, with our partner company, ScreenPro. We've been doing that, et cetera. But the need for this stuff is on the rise, and we're getting additional requests and additional inbounds of things that cannot be handled easily, with those dispatches. So it's not that we're taking a hit and we're opening these things up. We're expanding the business to meet demand. Now, the next thing that's really interesting about this is, one of the things that we offer through there are, dispatch services and stuff for prescriptions and et cetera, where it's available. And, for this service, we really, really could use the help of a pharmacist as we want to expand this. This is one of the things that's super popular, and it's also attracting a lot of attention, not just, people, but, with companies and things like that. So, can I test at home, and can I get stuff dispatched to me without ever having to go to the GP, et cetera, et cetera. So these are some of the avenues we're exploring.
Here we are. You kind of said that, so you made reference to it. Here we are at the end of the year, end of November. By December 10th or so, we both know that businesses start to wind down. Not a lot of new things start to happen, and people are tidying up and closing off loose ends. Are we going to see? You think we'll see you back before the end of the year? And if not, maybe a last message from you here as to for the shareholders as to how 2022 has gone.
Well, I'm hoping we'll see us back before the end of the year. If you
Nice.
don't see me back, yeah, we're always working. We like to, we like to be on here. But with 2022 coming to a close, we're super happy with what we've done so far. It's been another good year for us. We've got a good amount of money in the bank, and in an economy like this, cash is king. So we're super happy about that. We also are, overall, we're very happy with the trajectories where like DMEVS is going. We're super happy about how that's positioned to start picking up some steam in the new year. And we've got, Dominic coming on board to help us realize that goal. In addition, we're very happy with this pickup with Medical, and, with the acquisition we've just made, bringing John and Ray on board, in addition to Imagine Networks and everything they've already built there, the clinics, the pharmacies, the outreach, et cetera. So we think we are in a really good position to take both of those and, move them forward at a very quick trajectory, setting it up for, a quick release. And, this past quarter and everything with the AI shows we're still on a growth trajectory there. So we're firing on all cylinders right there. And, like I said, we're lining it up right now. Everybody have a great holiday, and we're going to hit the ground running. And then hopefully everything will take off like rockets. That's the idea.
I think you've already hit the ground running. Now it's just a case of how much faster you accelerate. I mean, amazing Q1, Q2, Q3, the addition of LeMay, the acquisition of Imagine, everything keeps more and more contracts with conglomerates from South Korea to Silicon Valley, Smart Factory. I mean, I think it's just been a fantastic year, especially in a year that's proven to be very challenging from an operations point of view for some of the biggest tech companies in the world. So for that, Marshall, I think I speak on behalf of pretty much everybody when I say congratulations so far. And hey, we may see you again, so we're not closing the door to that, but I want to make sure that I kind of express that. Thanks for joining us today, my friend.
Thanks, George. Always glad to be here.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. To Marshall Gunter, he's the CEO at Datametrex AI, trading in Canada, DM, trading in the US, DTMXF, and for our friends in Europe on Frankfurt under D4G. For those new to the story, because you saw either the Q3 number and or the appointment of the former VRail Chief Operating Officer and or the acquisition, and are wondering, who are these guys? How do I find out more? Start your due diligence on Agoracom, get to the company's profile page, pretty easy to find. And once you've got that all under your belt, because there are multiple facets, all AI at their core, but multiple facets of this company, once you've got that knowledge, head over to the Datametrex website, do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time. Hey guys, the video's over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our YouTube channel so you never miss another great Agoracom small cap video.